Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Crew First Culture podcast. This is Jeremy. And as always, thank you very much for spending some time with me today. Thank you so much for everybody that has reached out over time. I've had several people here just in the past couple of weeks reach out, and I can't tell you how much it means to me. It makes me feel like what I'm doing is worth my time because it's worth somebody's time out there. So thank you for that. I'm so appreciative of that. Please, if you are getting something from this podcast or the social media post or whatever it is, please share it and just try to share the message that I've been given and try to help me add value to somebody's life out there. Use what I have, put your own words to it, and you add value to somebody's life in your own way. So that's the reason. That's the reason for all this, right? So thank you very much. Today, kind of like a lot of the episodes I've done here lately, is going to be kind of discussing a post that I put out, putting a little bit more words to what I was thinking and just kind of getting some of it out. And so that being said, the post that I'm going to talk about, the picture, the meme, whatever you want to call it, it says leadership vision is seeing where you want to be and getting started even when you aren't exactly sure on the route to get there. So in the post, I kind of state, I feel like there's probably some people out there that will disagree with this being okay. I feel like there's people out there that are going to say, if you're in a leadership position and you don't know how to get to where you want to go, you're failing. And that's fine. Like I said in the post and then many posts before that, I don't put this stuff out because I think that every person is going to agree with me. I don't put this stuff out because I feel like it's the end all be all. I put things out because I've either experienced it for good or bad. I've absorbed it through, people that I admire or just good content, or it's something that has just been bouncing around in my head that I need to get out. And usually when it's that last category, it's almost like I'm fishing because in those times, I really want to see what other people think. And those times it is possibly a pretty flexible issue for me. I might not even really know for sure where I'm landing on it yet. So I'm throwing it out there to get some feedback, to figure out what other people's thoughts are, to see that, to really help me get to where I want to be on that topic. So I actually really enjoy those because it's not me just trying to, throw out my opinions because I feel like they're great. It's me throwing out some idea or thought and getting a lot of feedback on where everybody else is on the topic. So those are really fun for me. But as far as this one goes, this is in that first category. This is something that I've experienced. This thought is something that I have lived out. And through that, what I'm getting at is if you've heard anything from me, I speak a lot about it because it's basically my fire service story over the past 6 years almost. And that's, my traveling, my transitioning into a new firehouse as a very new officer and having to make a lot of changes to the culture and everything. So it's really most of what I talk about and teach on and everything is came from lessons from that. So I speak about it a lot. If you've heard me talk about it over and over again, I'm sorry, but truly this lesson is one of the many lessons that I learned during this journey at Red 3. We are Red Shift. We are Station 3. And so the past 5.5 years ish, that's been the journey. And so one of those biggest lessons that I learned looking back now is that, it's okay to not know all the details of how we're going to get to where we want to go. That's not near as important as having that vision, knowing your purpose, where we want to go, and just starting to make those first steps. That's the important part of all of this. Looking back, like I said, I barely had 6 months on as a company officer, as a captain, when I got moved to this crew. And so also knowing what was ahead of me as far as all the changes that need to be made, it was very overwhelming. It was absolutely overwhelming for me because, and it was such a weird feeling because I knew where I wanted us to be. I had a vision of what I wanted my crew to look like, but I had absolutely no idea how to get there. But I realized over time that that's not near as important as that first step. If we get going and we don't really know where we're going, we have a vision of a better future and it's very vague, and we don't have a really good idea of what that looks like, but we have all the steps down. We're gonna work on this every day. We're gonna make training a priority, and blah blah blah, and relationships and team building and all this and that. I feel like you're going. Yeah, you got a great start and you're headed in a particular direction. But is that even the right direction? If you don't have a clear picture of where you want to be, how do you even know where the heck you want to start headed to? It's got to start at that vision. It's got to start at what we have as a picture of that goal. For me, and for the purposes of this story, it was that firehouse culture that I wanted to create. I wanted us to create. And so that was the goal. That was the vision I had in my head. Again, I had no idea how to get there. But over time, I realized that I didn't have to know exactly how to get there. All I had to do was just take each little decision that had to be made and weigh it against that vision. Weigh it against the set focus that I had for us. If it was going to get us closer to that, if it was going to enhance us as a crew, do good things for the culture, build us up, then do it. Let's go. That's where we need to head. If it was going to be something that took away from those things, if it was something that made us take a step backwards, if it was something that hurt the momentum that we had built up, then that told me we needed to stay away from that. And really, like I said, looking back now, 5.5, 6 years later, that's easy to see that that's what we were doing. We didn't know that. We were doing that out of necessity because we didn't know any other way to do it. We were just trying to do better every day. But looking back on it now, of course, like any other thing, you have a lot better picture of what was going on. And so what was going on was exactly that. Even though we didn't know the true route, the best way to get where we were going, we knew that each little decision that was made, we knew that if the answer was yes to what I just said, then okay, that's a great place to go. Let's do that. And we knew if it was no and negative results were going to happen, then we needed to stay away from it. Now, please don't take that as we made great decisions every time. I guarantee you, just me as the leader, the formal leader, the station officer of that crew, man, especially like a heavy concentration that first 3.5 years, maybe more, I don't know. It was intensely more failures than successes, and a overwhelmingly more amount of bad choices than good choices. But that was because I was fighting a lot of other factors. I was fighting myself and my personality, because my personality, just as a default, wants to stay away from conflict. If you are trying to make big cultural changes for the good, and you don't just happen to be lucky enough to be with an entire crew that buys in automatically right out of the gate, which, sorry, that's, if that's what you got, that's impressive. I don't see it happening. There's going to be somebody that is going to want to buck the system, which means there is going to be somebody that is going to cause you to have to deal with some conflict. And so that was my major flaw. Every time decisions were made for the wrong reason, momentum was killed, culture was hurt, consistency was non-existent. More times than not, that's why those things happen, because I didn't stand up for the right choice. I knew that if I allowed this to happen, or if I allowed this not to happen, that it wasn't going to get us any closer to our goal. In fact, it's going to get us further away. But I still allowed it to happen. That's on me. And so this journey that, possibly could have taken several years less to kind of get to where we are now, it took a long time, because me as the leader, I struggled with being consistent with what I knew to be right, with what I knew to be the choices that were going to get us closer to our goal. And so that's a lesson that I want to share, because I know there are a lot of people out there that just don't have a clue on what to do. You are looking at an overwhelming task that you are very, very underprepared for, if even prepared at all. And you just don't know what to do. Every time I'm with a group of people at a conference, or giving a class, or whatever, there's always people that come up to you and share their story and ask for advice on what to do, because they don't know. And I hopefully try my best to give some good insight and some good ideas and answers to those questions. But a lot of it is going to have to come through your experience of trial and error. that is going to be the best way that you learn. I hope that's not the only way you learn. I hope that you're reaching out and learning from other people's mistakes and other people's experience, and gaining knowledge through books and podcasts and classes and all that, because that's definitely going to help you. But in the end, it doesn't matter how much we absorb, how much help we reach out for, we're still going to have to fight the demons that are inside us. And your demon might not be the same as mine. You might be somebody that is very comfortable with conflict and even excited when it happens. But I promise you, you got something that's holding you back. And even bigger, even more of a problem is you've got something holding everybody back. Everybody that you're associated with is being held back unless you face those demons that are doing that anchoring of you. We cannot make the impact in people's lives. We cannot have the influence in people's lives. We cannot make the difference that we should be making if we aren't truly facing the demons inside us that are holding us back in whatever area that we're facing. We've got to grow to be able to help others grow. Something I heard from a Maxwell podcast this morning is he I can't remember word for word, but basically he said a lot of leaders think that once they achieve that status, that formal level, that's it. They made it. They're good. Now all they have to do, excuse me, my nose is running like crazy. Now all they have to do is just sit back and let the good times roll. But it couldn't be farther from the truth. I think it's so important that we all pursue growth. It's obviously something that I hold very dear and near to some of the most important things in life. But even more so, once you become a leader, even in the informal category of leadership, you have got to be growing every day, because it's not just you anymore. You're not just growing to help you. If you're new or young and don't really have any responsibilities or anything like that, it's important to learn and grow just to develop yourself. But once you get to that status, that you have people looking up to you, relying on you, wanting to be mentored by you, depending on you for their future track, we have got to really be committed to what it's going to take to live up to that responsibility. And number one of that is growing every day. So again, I said it last time and kind of made a joke about it, that I say it every time, but really, this is something that I think we really need to have conversations about, sit and talk about, just really look at our opinions of these type of questions. Are you a leader that wants to make some changes? You've got an idea of what you want things to look like and the direction you want to at least start heading, but you're holding back because you don't have all the details ironed out yet. You you got some pieces put together, but you just don't know exactly what it's going to take to get there. You got to start. You've got to start. That is the biggest, most important step of anything. As long as you've got that vision in your head, as long as you've got that, that purpose, that mission, whatever you want to call it, out there, that you can sit here and focus on and direct your choices towards, weigh your options on. That's all you need. Is it going to get us headed in the right direction? Is it going to deter us and get us going in a different direction? It's as easy as that. Yes, let's go. No, then let's not do it. We got to stay focused on our path, our journey, keeping it as straight line as we can. It's going to have bumps and roller coaster curves and everything else. But we just have to do our best to try to make it as straight as we can, because that's going to be the easiest path to get where we want to go. So that's my thoughts on it. I hope that something I had to say stirs something in you, makes you kind of think about things. I think most of all, I hope that there's somebody out there that is that person, that is that leader, that wants to do important things, wants to make positive changes, wants to do things that it will enhance their people and their crew and their department, but they just haven't really felt like they had it together enough to start. I hope above anything that something I said spurs just that call to action in you to get started. You've got a great jump on it already. You know what you want. Get to work. You're going to have mistakes. You're going to make bad choices. I promise you. It's going to happen. So why wait any longer trying to iron out this plan that could completely be irrelevant in a couple months when things get mixed up, messed around, rosters and personnel get changed, you get moved, whatever. We can't spend any more time waiting when that goal is not getting any closer on its own. It's not going to come to us. We've got to go reach and push for it. So that requires us to move. And that is the most important step outside of knowing where we're going. Finding that focal point, that vision of whatever goal you're striving for, and just get moving. Push forward, push to that goal. Even if it's tiny little pushes, everything you got. Keep moving forward. Keep doing good things. Thank you for your time. As always, I want to say I appreciate you. If you want to take the time to leave a review on the podcast, let me know. I'm so grateful and want to send you some stickers as a way to show my gratitude to you. But share and like and all that, other stuff that podcast hosts say. I really want to reach as many people as I can, and that requires help from everybody out there. So thank you for that. Keep doing great things. I'm so thankful for this job, so thankful for this community, and I'm so hopeful for the great things that are in the future, because I know things are going to get better and we're going to blow the top off of this. So keep it up. And until next time, stay humble and do work.